Now, so this is a bit of a different video for a change because myself and Ziggy have gotten together and we were going to do a look back at an event rather than a look forward to what players are kind of looking at in the future. Although we will actually go into a small bit of what this event might mean going forward for the Nintendo Switch version. But this is basically going to be a bit of a post-mortem on the Rimac C2 Drive Syndicate, the second Drive Syndicate event on the Nintendo Switch platform, and just how it kind of went south pretty fast from day one. And joined again here with Ziggy SD from the Grand Tour. So thank you very much for joining me, Ziggy. You've done a lot more of this event than any sane person should.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been an interesting one for sure. Like you said, went south pretty quickly. Right from day one, we were kind of slapped with pay $10 for the Mazda Furai or, grind an insane number of races. But yeah, I thought we would take some time together to take a look back at, if you did attempt to get through this event without spending any money, what were your chances? How far could you get? What could you reasonably expect in terms of rewards? And could you ultimately unlock the C2?
And that's coming into the event with the support cars already unlocked. So obviously, like, people knew the fact that this one would have some support car stuff. So you have the 370Z Fairlady or the Nismo, the Evora Sport 410, the Ford GT, the Xero Uno and the Ferrari LaFerrari as our support cars that you could have coming into this event. The main one that would help you get past the stuff on the global version would have been the Italicized Xero Uno.
Yeah, so if you were to compare this one to the global version, what was interesting there is that they had relay packs that let you unlock the Mazda Furai pretty early on in the event. And the SC or syndicate coin payouts were substantially higher, as we covered in an earlier video. So
it's
you were
higher
able to,
by you say substantially higher, it's effectively a factor of 20.
Correct. Yeah, so you were essentially able to use the syndicate coins gained in order to unlock and star up all of the event cars to at least 3 stars to progress the event and not have to grind an insane amount.
Yeah, and again, for clarification, just from the global version, those relay packs were effectively your ticket into this one. Was you spend 5,000 tokens, the in-game premium currency, and that gave you enough syndicate coins to unlock the Furai by the time you would need to have it unlocked.
Correct. Whereas, I believe it was actually really just the buy-in was about 1,500 tokens, and the remaining tokens that you could spend were if you needed them or if you wanted to spend it, depending on what kind of drop rates you got for the other cars in the event.
Yeah, or probably the state of your Xero Uno as well going into it, since you can buy blueprints for the Xero Uno during this. But yeah, that's the thing. So we had the ticket in the door effectively taken away. The only things we got were, the Red Fox revealed we had, which initially showed warning signs on the Switch because that first race and that starts off with the car pointed the wrong direction and you just immediately crash out. Then you went into the Mountain Cat where you effectively need to have the Furai by the time you get to those pinned missions. And you obviously can't with the syndicate coins slashed by a factor of 20 and with the relay packs reduced.
Yeah, so a lot of us Switch players thought we would actually be coming into this event with an advantage because the Xero Uno was first released during this event on global, and so you had to spend syndicate coins on it. So a lot of us actually went out of our way to start that car to 2, 3, in some cases 4 stars.
Because we had the 2 events that featured the Xero Uno before this. There was 2 opportunities to get it, and there was even a special pack which included a load of blueprints for 1,200 tokens just before the start of this event. And yeah, like you say, people kind of bought into that. It's not a bad car to have in the slightest, but it was known as one of the support cars in the Drive Syndicate 2, which it still ended up being. It's just a case of the event also asked a whole lot more.
Exactly. And because those coin payout rates were so nerfed, if you didn't spend money at every paywall that popped up, and these were escalating paywalls. So the initial paywall was $10 for the Furai, and then once you got to the charging board stages, you were looking at $20 for the Shelby, and then once you got to the Tanuki stages, anybody who was a long-term player would at least be okay there because they would have had the Xero Uno and been able to pass through those okay. But once you got to the stalwart monkey stages, you're looking at $50 for not even enough blueprints to unlock the car. And if you're somebody from global who's looking at this video and wondering, well, why don't you just use the syndicate coins? Well, the payout rates are so low that you can't unlock these cars. And not only that, but if you were to do that, you would never in any case come out ahead with one exception, which is to unlock the 1-star Furai, because an event was added to the daily section that pays out 120,000 syndicate coins. But in any other case, including starring up the Furai, unlocking any of the other cars in this event, you will always come out behind 100% of the time.
Yeah, like say for anyone who did play this on global, to like who was thinking the fact of, oh, this is like, yeah, kind of an exaggeration on those nerfing. Keep in mind that, like, say in Mountain Cat 2, for example, the payouts for doing hazard level 1 in that is 2 syndicate coins. And hazard level 2 gets you 15 syndicate coins. So, yeah, like, say, if you want to unlock a car with that, you're getting 2 syndicate coins for a race, or 15, but to get a 10-pack of Furai blueprints, you need 5,000. So you can do the maths there quickly enough in your head if you're doing this at like the 15 races and you need 5,000. Yeah, it's just completely impossible to do it. Well, without an insane amount of racing. And like, yeah, I mean,
and
even
the end point of that, when you do finally reach the Regnant Octopus stages that feature the C2, the packs escalate to 8,000 for a single pack or 80,000 for a 10-pack. 80,000 syndicate coins.
Yeah, and
8,000 syndicate coins away. They charge in terms of the microtransactions that are currently featured in the shop. If you were to purchase 120,000 syndicate coins, for example, that would be $100 or €100, depending on your region. So it's basically $100 per 10-pack.
Well, don't forget, for that €100, you'd also get 3 whole blueprints for the C2.
Correct. But I'm just referring to straight up, like, if you were to buy the syndicate coins, because you don't even see that bundle exists until you get to Regnant. So you could potentially buy 120,000 syndicate coins.
Outside store, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's a rough one. But I did want to kind of talk about the path I took to this event.
But yeah, sorry for stopping, but yeah, that's sort of price for a 10-pack and a half is €100 for a 10-pack that's got 10 or 20% drop rate.
20% drop rate, and once you do get to the Regnant Octopus stages, a bundle becomes available that will give you 3 blueprints for the C2, 80,000 syndicate coins, which is enough for a 10-pack, and I believe 30 packs of the C2. I don't have my Switch in front of me to check, but yeah, it's a better value, I guess you could technically say.
But it's also
$100 for
€100 or dollars, or regional currency. Like,
and you wouldn't even know it exists until you get to that point in the event, unless somebody was to get ahead of you and tell you that exists. So you could potentially buy that $99 120,000 syndicate coin pack before even knowing that exists. And that kind of leads into the point about how this event is structured, right? It's very deceptive. You see the $10 for the Furai and you think, all right, that's kind of cheap. That's not too big of a deal. It's just $10. Then you get to the Shelby and it's $20. And you're like, okay, it's a little more expensive, but I already spent the $10. And then you get to the Xero Uno and it's $50. And then you get to the Xero One and it's $50 again. And then you get to the C2
Well, the
$100.
the ZR1 is $50 for 10 blueprints. That is like the 50 for that Corvette is never going to unlock it. Like,
No, you would need to buy at least two of them, probably three of them, depending on your drop rates. So, I mean, if you're looking to play this event in the most efficient way possible, you're looking at an initial investment of $200 before you even get to the stages with the C2. And that's just to save time. That doesn't even guarantee you the car. It just saves you time. It's crazy. It's way too expensive, and it's very deceptively presented to the player. It's disrespectful to the player, to be quite honest. It's disrespectful not only to the free-to-play player, but it's disrespectful to the paying player as well, because for a couple of reasons, and I think I mentioned this the last time we talked, but first of all, if you're a free-to-play player, you have no shot, and we'll get into the reasons why that is in a few minutes. If you're a paying player, though, it's not much better. Let's say you're somebody who's paid into this game regularly. Every dollar that you before this event does nothing for you, really. Like, you can make a case that if you had spent money on the Xero Uno, it helps. But yeah, your prior garage does nothing to help you here. If you have the lower end, like the old support cars, like the LaFerrari and the Nissan, they really don't do anything for you to alleviate the grind or help you gain any of the premium currency in the event. They just let you progress to the final paywall, which we'll again talk about. But yeah, no money that you've spent on this game previously goes any way towards helping you in this event. You are pretty much asked to shell out the price of minimum $100, but up to and beyond the price of a Nintendo Switch itself to complete the event.
And that end result is a car in a free-to-play game in which, say for example, my garage, I've 77 cars. I've spent like an amount of time in this game, but also spent about maybe somewhere in the region of 20 to 30 euros in total. That still, as somebody that plays the game a ton, has effectively, at the start of this event, I had around €1,000 worth of the in-game premium currency in the form of 30,000 tokens, which, with the removal of the relay packs, that was Gameloft's way of saying, like, the premium currency is not worth jack in this event. Like, it was a completely declining to accept the premium currency as the currency this event took. That's one of my main issues with this event. It always will be. Like, this event ruined the premium currency, in my opinion. Like, if you have money and you convert your money into tokens, you're an idiot, because, yeah, keep your money, because that's the premium currency.
Yeah, exactly. And even if you spend all that money, you're not even getting the car maxed out or anywhere close. You're just unlocking the grand prize car of this event, that being the C2. And if you want to go beyond that, then you're going to be spending even further. So, I would say, based on my estimations, the lowest you can get through this, if you had a 4-star Xero Uno based on the Syndicate coin payouts, you might be able to do it for lower than $100, but that's going to apply to a very minimal amount of players. For the vast majority of players, you're going to be looking at a minimum of $100 in a best case scenario, anywhere up to $200, $300 just to unlock the car.
But that's also a gamble. Like, what you're talking about is you can spend your time in this doing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of races, and then you get to a wall, at which point a $99 or euro purchase will give you enough Syndicate coins just to have a gamble at getting the car. If you failed that, if you were to open up those packs and those, like, stuff from those coins, and you got bad luck, I mean, you've done your 1,000 races, you've given it €100. You're going to have to give it another €100 to have another roll that dice. Like,
correct.
You could end up throwing so much, like, it's that old phrase, it's like throwing good money after bad. It's like, effectively, once you spend that €10 on the Furai, if you could think that money is on a path to this, and you start spending 10, 20, 50, and then, like, once you get to that final paywall, you're talking about €100 purchase to open a 10-pack of cards. That's insane. Like,
yeah, it's no guarantee, and that's why I say $100 is the minimum, because that that bundle that is available is 3 guaranteed blueprints, plus 80,000 of those Syndicate coins that would get you a 10 pack. And then on top of that, I believe it gives you, I want to say 30 packs. So assuming average luck in the packs, you could get through it with that $100 purchase. If you were coming into this with a 3-star Xero Uno or a 4-star Xero Uno, anything less than that, and then forget about the $100. And that just kind of goes into just how complicated and obfuscating the math is to what your actual chances are to getting the car, because there is no communication behind that. It is designed to be confusing. It is designed to trap you into spending money. It's absolutely designed to do that.
I will point out, the one message that was pointed out from the start was the fact that this event is possible free to play. And that was a message that we got from their official community manager, and it looks like that message is entirely BS. This event is possible free to play if you get jackpots left, right, and center throughout, and you don't mind playing several hundreds of races on the same tracks over and over again using the Nissan and the Evora, and it's torturous. And like I said, you would need to have around 5 or 6 jackpots on every single pack that you opened
if you wanted to get through it the most efficient way possible. It's possible free to play in the way that, it's possible that I could go out to the store tomorrow and buy a lottery ticket and win the lottery, right? So theoretically, you can grind every race to the end of this. And let's take me, for example, and I'll quickly go through my free to play path that I did and explain how it could potentially, theoretically, but very unlikely be possible to complete.
Just to stress, by the way, I think in your scenario it would be true, except for the fact that it would be more equivalent to going out to the thing and winning the lottery, if not for the fact that also you'd have to do that about 6 times in a row, in exactly the right order, in exactly the right weeks, and yeah. It's not possible. Don't tell the players it's possible. That's a lie. This is nonsense.
Yeah.
I want to swear. My YouTube channel is PG. Don't make me do that. I like my channel. I just I need to add a tiny disclaimer onto that. If, for example, this event has 15 days and 6 hours left out of an event which is run for 40 days, I want to say, in total. If on 5 days to go, the relay packs appear and a way of converting tokens into Syndicate coins appears, that doesn't change the fact that you tried to milk every single player for every single dollar you could during Christmas and the New Year with an event, and pointing at it in the last minute and saying, now it's available free to play, is... Yeah, again, I can't think of a word that's not a swear. Damn it. There we go. It's damn it. Yeah, that doesn't count. If the event is running for a month and you leave it run for 29 days, and then on the 30th day you say, here's a relay pack. All you do at that point is not only do you burn the community, you ruin your PR with this for the entire month. Once you get to the end of the month, if you go, no, look, it was possible with this, then anyone who actually spent money will be burnt as well as everyone else. So don't, if you do that for the sake of going, but look, it was free though, you're not going to do anything other than make yourselves look even more stupid at this stage. It's beyond the point where this is salvageable. Leave it burn, just leave it burn and move on to the next thing. Doing something now for the sake of making a point on it, it's just going to be pathetic in my opinion. I think it will, honestly, you've got 23 players we've worked out who have the car. Honestly, just leave them have it. Put this one in the bin. Don't try and say, we fixed this. I just had to include that disclaimer that, yeah, you may change this one now, but it's way too late for any of the players to give a flying C2, shall we say. But yeah, Ziggy. your journey through this one.
Right. So we had kind of talked about this, and the $10 for the Furai looked like a scam right from the start.
Yeah,
to put
on
it
scam
lightly.
wall number 1. Yeah.
Yeah. So right from the start, you've got that paywall, but
Which even on day 1, you were like, that's not going to help you, because with the reduction on those Syndicate coin gains, like, it was clear you were just going to run aground again. Like,
yeah, the math was always kind of screwy on that. So, I mean, I kind of took up the challenge of, like, can you actually complete this free to play against my better,
and we
judgment and
salute
sanity?
you for
But
that, good sir.
I wanted to be able to confirm it. Like, I wanted to go through it and make sure that I could say, yeah, like, one way or another, this is definitively possible or not possible. The only way I could do that for sure is to play it myself. And I understand other players have passed back information and whatnot, but if you're
Yeah,
gonna
because this wasn't something you could do quickly, because it involves that number of races. Like,
correct. But I felt like if I'm gonna make a video about it, I should experience it instead of just relaying the experiences of other players. So I went through it. I was able to unlock the Mazda Furai at 1 star by the time I reached Charging Bore 4. By the time I was halfway through that, I had accumulated about 30,000 Syndicate coins. I dumped those into 6 10-packs, and I came up 1 short of unlocking the car. Just 1. So I came up at 29 out of 30.
Yeah, but just 1 second though. For the sake of clarification, right? For anyone
Mm-hmm.
who's thinking like that wasn't too bad on the global version, when you say Charging Bore 4, so Mountain Cat 1 we were able to do because you get the car for that.
Mm-hmm.
You immediately get Run Aground there because you needed the Fury for the pinned missions for Mountain Cat 1. Mountain Cat 2, you can do the Nismo Hazard Level 2 event, which you get about 500 experience for, and you need 35k for that. So that's 70 races in Hazard Level 2. Then that feeds on to Mountain Cat 3, whereby, say, you need to do the Hazard Level 2 again for 700 experience, and you need 40,000. So, like, Mountain Cat 4, was that also, that's Hazard Level 2 as well then, isn't it?
Hazard level 1. That's the first time you hit that hazard level 1 wall. Essentially, it works out. It works out roughly like this. If you didn't pay the $10 up front, Mountain Cat 2, 3 are about 50 races a piece. Mountain Cat 4 is about 200 races. Charging Bore 1, 2, 3, again, once you get to that stage, you would need the Shelby, but nobody was able to unlock it without paying money. So 50 races per stage there, so another 150 for those. And then once you get to Mountain Cat, Charging Bore 4, it would be yet another 200 races. So keep that in mind.
Sorry for laughing, but yeah, it is just a case of, like, so if you're doing Hazard Level 1, as you see here on my screen, but yeah, so when you're looking at this, it is a case of Hazard Level 1 granting you 200 experience and you needing 40,000 to fill up that bar. So yeah, it's like an insane ask, and the missions are, like, most of them can't be touch driven. Like, some of them are 40 seconds missions, some of them are 2.5 minutes. Like, it's an incredible time ask. You're talking about, yeah, so like 50 missions, 200 missions, 50, 50, 50, 200 of the same race over and over and over.
Right, and the reason it would be the same race is because it's the most efficient way to do it. So once you get to Hazard Level 1, typically what happens when you get to Hazard Level 1 stage where you have to grind through it is the first race is somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 seconds. The second race is somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 to 2.5 minutes. So what everybody has typically done is just reset the game or put the switch in airplane mode until it starts syncing, and then turn it out of airplane mode so it just resets without having to reset. So you can just play that first 40-second stage over and over again to save time.
Just to clarify here as well, by the way, that reset trick here does work on if you have your Switch docked, and it's still faster. Say here in Mountain Cat 3, that middle mission for me, hey, can you take me to the sake bar? Say that's beat race time of 1:32. If you actually come back to the main menu, this still works out faster than doing 2.5 minute missions. You can go in here, select offline mode, press A, and say yes to that. It'll change the game over to being the offline mode, then start again, or 2. It's almost like I've done this 50 times. And then play online. So you can actually do that in docked mode as well. And it'll just take a couple of seconds for it to do it. As much as this does take a few seconds to do, it still works out faster. So when I enter the Drive Syndicate again, it'll get back to the let me tag your car with a transmitter and spread the virus through the city. I promise it's a good virus. Whoever left that text on this event, by the way, in 2020, you absolutely suck. You absolutely suck. That's all I can say.
It's funny because you can't even type the word virus in club chat, but there it is.
No, you cannot.
Spread the virus through the city.
Yeah, you can't type that statement, and I raised that on the Asphalt 9 Discord because that is atrocious. In a year where, like, you're looking at 2 million people having died to a virus, this like, especially when people play these games for an escape, that's the exact reason why that thing is banned in chat. It's terrible. Whoever left that there, like, proofread your events. At least just run the chat filter through your events. Like, this would have censored that. That's terrible, especially when that's the event you have to do 50 times.
Yeah, but
so that's the reset trick that you needed to do to get back to doing these missions at the 40 seconds. You know, so you only had to do a 40-second mission 200 times per stage. Only.
Right, instead of having to run 2.5 minute races 200 times. Not great. So, but yeah, that enabled me to unlock the car at 1 star eventually. I needed to buy a single pack after that initial purchase of 6 10 packs because I was 1 short and probably wasn't the smartest thing to do, but I did it and I got lucky and I got the last blueprint I needed.
Oh yeah, you got it from a single thing as well.
I did. I needed something to motivate me to keep going, so I was just like, let me try and get it here, and hopefully it works. And
let me end all my motivation life by buying. What did I do in that one video? 40 single packs in a row looking for 3 blueprints.
Yeah,
that could be a bad gamble, Siggy, man.
Well, I just knew that after charging Bor, I was going to hit Tanuki anyway, and at that point, because I had the Xero Uno, I would be able to get the last blueprint pretty quickly. So I figured at least if I bought one, it would,
give you something.
Be a little boring. But yeah, I unlocked there. I went into the daily event that gives you the 120,000 Syndicate coins and a bunch of blueprints for the Shelby and the Xero Uno, and I played that. And then at that point, played all the Xero Uno races. I needed to buy 1 blueprint at that point to 3-star the Xero Uno, so I could do hazard level 3 at Rising Tanuki 3, because I was exactly 1 short. That cost me 5,000 Syndicate coins. So that was a total spending of 35,500 Syndicate coins. That is everything I've spent so far. After that, I basically got through the Tanuki stages, grinded out all the Stalwart Monkey stuff, and I have finally arrived 3 weeks later at Kraken Octopus 1. After spending that 35,500, my remaining total after playing all the pin missions that I could possibly play and playing all the missions that I could possibly play in the event is 510,000 Syndicate coins.
You realize, by the way, every time you say that name of this event, I'm going to flash the pregnant octopus right on the screen, right?
I love it.
Good stuff. I mean, right there.
So yeah, at the end of all that grinding, 510,000 Syndicate coins. The problem with that is the lowest estimate that I've seen to be able to clear this event is 710,000 Syndicate coins, and I'm not entirely sure, as I've seen multiple estimates floating around of how many Syndicate coins exactly you need, but the lowest number I've seen is 710,000. So that would put me 200,000 coins off. which again, if you do the math, it goes back to that $99 microtransaction, luck dependent. That would be the bare minimum that I could get through it with, and be able to upgrade the car, because upgrading the car costs Syndicate coins. Cover 2-starring the car, that costs Syndicate coins, 80,000 per 10 pack. And obviously you can see the predicament that I'm in. If I have 510,000 coins, I need to cover 20 blueprints plus upgrades. It's not going to be able to cover that. And even with the blueprints that are in the Legend store, it was calculated that if you were to buy all of those, it would cost 590,000 Syndicate coins. So not possible free to play for me, unless I was to immediately get a jackpot upon opening a 10 pack. And even then, I think I would still possibly be just short of being able to do it. So yeah, it's not really possible for somebody with a 3-star Xero Uno. It might be possible to scrape by if you have amazing luck in a 4-star Xero Uno, but you would really need to be getting some ridiculous drop rates on that pack in order to do that. So in the most technical sense, like I said earlier, in the sense that I can walk out my door tomorrow, buy a lottery ticket, and win $50 million or something like that. Yeah, it's technically possible, but it's not realistically possible.
No, and we'll put it like this. If you took a sample group of, say, like 100 players, and they all did exactly what you did, and they all got to the exact same point, what percentage of them would actually end up having a complete free-to-play? It's going to be somewhere in the region of 1 or 2.
Yeah, if that.
Yeah. So, like, that's the thing. That's the fact that if every person did it. And this is the point where you have, again, this game comes down to an absolute gambling fest. Because, like, where you are at the moment, you've got your 500k Syndicate coins. It's like you have your gamble. If you put those into Rimac C2 blueprint packs, what are you going to get? It's like you're going to get some blueprints for the car, possibly not enough to unlock it. Most likely not enough to unlock it. At which point then, do you stop or do you spend 100 because you've invested so much time into this? And that's the catch that this game has like kind of got on players, is the more you go into this, it's like it's such an investment of time, energy and money for a lot of players. It's like, yeah, so you've got your gamble. Do you go down the path of C2 packs and not get the car? Which then puts you at, do you want to buy a C2? Or do you just cash out now and put those into the other packs? So, get yourself some Corvette ZR1, the Furai, and the Shelby, max those cars out.
Yeah, and that's the thing for the people approaching this free to play. Essentially, what you have to do to get anything worthwhile out of it is grind all the way to the end and then play it backwards. So the ZR1 is so expensive at 50,000 per 10 pack that it's not even worth considering. The Xero Uno, many of the long-term players are going to have that already. Let's say you're like me and you have the car at 3 stars. You're not going to be investing in that further because, again, it's too expensive, 40,000 per 10 pack. You would look back to the Shelby. If you're like me and you have 510,000 coins, that car is 10,000 Syndicate coins per 10 pack. You can unlock that car guaranteed.
Yeah.
So you would go and get that car and as much as possible, play the pin missions there, get some Syndicate coins back, and then again go backwards and start up the Mazda Furai, and again get some more Syndicate coins, whatever you want with them at that point. Wanted to grab a couple of C2 blueprints from the shop for a future, if the car shows up again, you could always do that, or you can just continue putting it into the Shelby or the Furai.
I personally don't think anyone is ever going to want to see a Rimac C2 or any of the cars from this again. The same with the Mazda. Like, that Mazda car looked awesome. But if I look at it now, I'll just see that thing that they scammed 10 quid off of people with. Like, for me, Mazda in Gran Turismo was always like, oh, cool, it's a class car because of the RX-7, and that's a great car to start off the game with. Now, when I look at any Mazda, I'll be like, kind of sucks a bit. Like, it's bad when a game event can be so bad to taint your opinion of a whole brand of cars.
Yeah, and to add insult to injury, there was a C2 Grand Prix over on Global where they had packs for 1,200 tokens where you could potentially get the key for the car, and that doesn't help matters when we have a Drive Syndicate where it's essentially impossible to get the car without spending hundreds of dollars. And not was their Drive Syndicate very free to play friendly, but now they have another free to play avenue to get the car for people who had tokens saved. And again, a gamble, but at least it doesn't, 1,000 plus races in order to do that. It's better by comparison, at least.
There's no real gamble with this. Like I said, if you had 100 people in your exact situation, like the majority of them aren't walking away with the car, and at the same time, I hate seeing gambling mechanics like that in the game. Like, which way do you imagine you'll go, by the way? Are you going to spend the 500 on Rimac, or are you going to go with all the other cars?
I will likely just dump it into the Shelby, but I'm taking kind of a week off from the event at this point and just not touching it, because the only thing I have left to do is dump the Syndicate coins and play the pin missions, which don't really take that long. So it won't take me a full week to get through the rest of the stuff. And even if it does, I don't really care at this point. But it does bring me to another point that I wanted to make about this event, which I find especially insulting, for lack of a better word.
There's been a lot of insulting in this.
Yeah. So you typically, when you play a video game, the more you play the game, the more it rewards you. That's kind of the structure of a video game is, let's say you play a loot-based game like Diablo, for example. The more you play Diablo, the more the game rewards you. You get better loot as you go.
Legendary pants.
Correct. If we look at this event by comparison, it's the opposite. The less you play it, the more it rewards you. The event is swiping your credit card, essentially, because in order to maximize your gains from this event, you have to play it as little as possible. The best way to do this event is to play Hazard Level 3. That's the way to maximize your rewards. Yeah. Hazard Level 3 involves playing the event the least. So in effect, the more you play this event, the less it rewards you. It's completely backwards in terms of typical video game structure.
Yeah, say, like, for anyone who might not understand this, who's watching this video and going, like, if you're not entirely aware of the way these Drive Syndicate events would roll here, say, if I was able to do that Hazard Level 3, which I'm not, because you can see the car icon there next to the Hazard Level 3, which means that I haven't given Gameloft a tenner. If I could do that, I would again get 4,000 experience per race. And what my main goal then is to fill up that 40,000 that I require. So if I spent a tenner, I would be able to race this one just 10 times and I would get past it, rather than having to race it the 50 times that I need to. Because, yeah, like Ziggy's saying there, the fact that if I was to pay money, I could play the game 10 times.
Exactly. So,
it's just not It's not even, like you're saying, it's not even like you're paying to play the game. You're paying to not play the game, like, effectively. It's
pretty much. You're paying to play play a few very easy races as a formality just to be handed a car. Because none of these races are any measure of challenge to anybody who's been playing this game for any length of time. They're super easy. There's no challenge. It's, a lot of these races are either tracks that have been featured in car hunts or car hunt rides a million times. So there's nothing here that's new for anybody.
Yeah. It's just a test of patience. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So, just to kind of recap these main points of why this event is so poorly designed. The nerfing of the Syndicate coin payouts, which is just nerfed to an absurd level to where you can't even progress without spending money, or at least you can't progress to a reasonable degree. So you're guaranteed to run into paywalls. Some of them can be overcome by grinding, but at the end of the day, once you get to that Kraken Octopus section, you are going to hit a final paywall that is impassable through grinding, because they took out the Hazard Level 1 missions. We didn't mention that before, but essentially the combination of needing to upgrade the car and get it to 2 stars is insurmountable for a free-to-play player. Again, as I mentioned, the event rewards you less the more you play it, which is just a backwards concept. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. The event is punishing both to the free-to-play player in the fact that they cannot complete it, and it's punishing to the paying player as well, in that it obfuscates the math as much as possible behind the event. The math in this event is designed to be as opaque as possible. Game Office had made no helpful statements regarding this event outside of we can't change it, and reassuring us that they did the math and it makes sense, which is completely unhelpful, disrespectful to the player, to be quite honest. And it doesn't make any sense. The math works if the math is designed to kind of screw over all the players and make sure that we get trapped into paying money at every turn and that we can't complete the event unless we pay money. Then the math works great, but it's not player friendly at all. And it's not player friendly to the free play guy. It's not player friendly to the paying guy who wants to pay or doesn't mind paying. It's not well designed for anybody.
But yeah, saying the fact that players are only upset because we know the global version ran like normally doesn't work. Players are upset because the average cost of the car in this is around €300. It's a car in a free-to-play game is €300. Players are upset because that's absurd. That's an insane ask. It's not because, they got it for only 5,000 tokens and we get it for €300. It's like, even if you take away the aspect of that, if they got it for 5,000 tokens, it's like, wait, you want what for a car? Are you nuts? Like, this is...
there was a middle ground that could have been reached. It didn't need to go swinging so far to the other extreme. And I want to be very clear about myself. I am not here to judge anybody who did take the plunge and wanted to spend the money. That's your choice. I don't judge anybody for what they want to do with their own money.
As long as you're financially in a situation where you can do that, that's correct. Perfectly fine. But what my main issue with this is the person who has €100 gets to a point, say, like where you're at, and you're like, okay, I've spent all this time, I have this 500k coins, what do I do with them? Spend them in the C2, okay, I'm now this €99 purchase away. It's still a gamble. So like you then say, alright, sod it, I'm going to spend €100 on this event. You spend that, you get bad luck in those packs. You're going to need another €100.
Yeah.
And that's terrible. Like, that's gambling.
Yeah, and again, like I said, I don't judge anybody who wants to take the plunge and spend, but there are potential ramifications that it could have if it does prove to be a success, let's say. Correct? It could guide the structure of events going forward. It could encourage.
Of course it will. Yeah, of course it will. Like, I mean, the number of players in our club alone who bought that Furai on day one, it was more than half the club. And like, we are a top 100 club, but at the same time, like, against people's better judgment, it's like this was the event people want to be playing, so they're like, a tenner's the cost to get in, we'll just pay it. Like, that was the mindset for a lot of this is, it's just a tenner, we'll pay it and get started and get playing into this event, it's going to be fair. And like, it wasn't. And that's the thing, is like, you're talking about probably somewhere in the region of 5,000 to 10,000 players who would have been kind of like tricked, more or less, I'm going to use the word tricked, into thinking that Furai was a good deal. 5,000 people buying a €10 DLC to get into a race, that's kind of 50,000. That's a very successful event.
I think in this case, it's fair to say that people were tricked because of how fast that purchase becomes useless, right? If we really think about it,
yeah, you're talking about.
You can use that 1-star car that you paid $10 for to play the first 2 sets of pin missions and get through the first couple sets of missions a little bit quicker. But already, once you get to the 3rd set of pin missions, it's useless. Like, you can't play the 3rd set of pin missions with a 1-star Mazda Furai. You need the 2-star. And that goes back to the point that I was making about it never pays out. Like, if you reinvest the syndicate coins that you earn, you just can't make them back, with the exception of the case of getting the 1-star Furai. That's the only time that it pays out. every other time you operate at a loss. You are
Yeah,
losing
because of that
coins.
nerf has been done. But yeah, I was just gonna say, I say that's pretty much it for this as a post-mortem, really. I mean, like, the one main takeaway that we can take from this, though, is the fact that going forward, if Gameloft start to make a point of they're going to change the events just to mix things up from the previous ones, it does mean that people aren't going to be able to prepare as easily on the Switch version, and kind of that's going to hurt their kind of casual to like semi-casual player, like the people like myself and yourself who'll pay like, you know, €5 and €10 here and there, but generally be quite careful with money. I think that's going to hurt those quite a lot, because that will stop people like us from, say, buying cars that we wouldn't otherwise buy. So, like, we wouldn't have invested so much in Xero Uno, for example, unless we knew that it was going to be an upcoming car in the event. So, like, it'll kind of like damage our ability to make judgments going forward. At least for myself, a small bit, I think.
Definitely. I would not have invested as many tokens as I did into the Xero Uno if I had known. I would have left it probably at 1 star, because it was at the end of the day, it was kind of useless. The Avia had packs. You didn't really need the Xero Uno there all that much to hit the blueprint requirement. And then it was pretty much completely useless in this event, because this event was just pay money or get lost.
But it was pay money and get lost, I think you'll find, for the most players.
Yeah.
Because they paid their tenner and then...
I guess you could theoretically say it was useful in that it let you pay less money, but I wouldn't really consider that a plus, because, you know, the cost is ridiculous either way, so it doesn't really make a difference. And now I don't have a problem inherently with them changing things for the events, but changing things for the sake of changing them is not good. Changing them because it was too easy on global, so now we're going to make it just straight up impossible, is not good. There needs to be a balance. You can't just disrespect the entire player base and expect to have a player base. If you continue doing this several months from now, players have left the game over this event straight up. People who are known to be big spenders have posted in the Asphalt 9 Discord and said, "That's it. I'm done. I'm gone."
Yeah, I think that's about enough of us beating this horse that refuses to die. It's still here for another 15 days. I think it's just literally hanging around the place, because, like you mentioned earlier, the people who paid will be done with it by now. Mm-hmm. And the people who are trying to grind this one out are probably all maybe buying different games on the Switch and stuff, because this is a torture device more so than it is a special event. Like, it's punishing you, and the punishment is do 500 races. Like, you realize the fact that you're punishing players by making them play your game. Like, you understand the fact that if the punishment is playing the game, people will figure it out in their heads that they can, you know, get out of that by not playing.
Yeah, but not a good idea to burn people out with a special event. It doesn't bode well for retaining players long term, especially to create the illusion that there's potential to get to the end of the event just to hit them with the ball at the very end. Not really a smart way to structure an event.
But yeah, thank you very much again, Ziggy, for joining me on this and all the other videos and live streams. Hopefully we may crack in some multiplayer in the next week or so if you're around the place or get some free time.
Definitely.
If you're not you're not going to be grinding away in this one. And
I'm pretty much done.
Hopefully some of you guys will join us for this one. Leave some comments down below, by the way, and let us know how you kind of progress through the event, because, like, yeah, we sympathize with the community. And as always, there's like a Discord link up in the banner as well up here. Like, that will take you to the Grand Tour. It's our Discord club, so you can find like myself and Ziggy on there. If you've got questions in related to this event, there's quite a lot of the community are actually on there as well. So feel free to give a click on that, join us on there, and just say hi kind of thing. Or else if you've got any questions, if we can answer you, we'll try and get back. We're kind of on different sides of the planet, so we are alive at different times of the day as well. But yeah, thank you very much again, Ziggy. And wow, you are a patient man for dealing with me and this event. This is crazy.
What can I say? I wanted to be able to confirm it for myself. So I go to great lengths. Hopefully you guys will appreciate that who watch this video. But
But yeah, thank you very much again, Ziggy Man, for joining us. As always, guys, there's a sub button over here. I'll leave off the video to cover Ziggy, but there'll be a video up there over him from my channel. And yeah, thanks very much for everything. Like I said, I really appreciate all the subs, views, and comments down below. They help out the channel massively. And yeah, guys, like I said, if you want to come and join us in chat, feel free. There's a Discord link up there. Pretty much everyone is welcome. Alright, guys, good luck, drive safe, and yeah, just put this one down as a failed experiment, hopefully not a successful experiment.